Welcome back. Today we're going to find the equivalent resistance of a circuit as well. So, what's the equivalent resistance? Again, the equivalent resistance is basically some sort of abstraction, so some kind of fake resistance that we use to minimize our circuit. So instead of taking care of, using all the individual resistances like, like R1, R2, R3, and so on, which can be annoying to deal with over time. We're going to find the equivalent resistance and then use it in our calculation to make our life easier. Anyway, right now, all I'm going to do is find the equivalent resistance. So, and I'm going to make any other kind of calculation. So let's start with this. So let's pretend that we have a circuit again. Our circuit is like this. So we go down here, we have resistance. Here we have resistance as well. And here we have our power supply. And all the way back here, like so. Okay, so this one is going to be our R1, resistance 1 is 150 ohm. This one is going to be our R2, 75 ohm. This one is going to be our R3, 75 ohm. And our power supply, V1, is 2.4 volts. We're not going to need this, but I'm putting it as a reference anyway. And we're going to find the equivalent resistance here, Req. So to find the equivalent resistance, again, we're going to use the relationship between the resistances. So we can immediately see that R1 is in parallel with R2, and then there is R3. So again, we're going to have that the equivalent resistance of all those three is R3 plus the parallel between R2 and R1. So what does it mean? Well, it means that Req is equal to R3 plus R2 in parallel with R1. So R3, which is 75 ohm, 75 plus R2, which is 75, times 150 over 75 plus 150, because this is what parallel means, that you multiply them and then you divide by the sum. So it's the multiplication divided by the sum of them. So 75 times 150 over 75 plus 150. So Req is equal to 75 plus 75 times 150 is 11,250. 11,250 over 75 plus 150 is 225. It's 225. So again, we go on, and Req is equal to 225 here. Do a part of the fraction. Here we have 16,875. 16,875 plus 11,250. And this gives us 28,125 over 225, which is 125 ohm. So again, this is our final answer, and it's the equivalent resistance for this very circuit.